What's going on, guys? It's Sam, and as I'm sure you know, there's been a lot of conversation and controversy around the topic of scans and buying used manga. So I wanted to give my opinion as well as go into this as objectively as possible and have a discussion about it. Before we get into it, the first thing that I want to address is that I've seen a lot of people on their opinions and videos on this topic really confusing the difference between their own personal morals and what is ethically right and wrong. I'm not really going to be talking about what I think from my own morals is all right and what's wrong when it comes to reading scans and buying used manga. I'm really going to be talking about what is ethically right and what is ethically wrong, and kind of breaking down that argument that I've heard a lot of people have as far as scans are okay and buying used manga is wrong. I'm also going to go into the conversation of what most benefits the industry, which I think a lot of people have the wrong idea. So first off, scans. A scan or a scanlation is when an individual or a group of people take direct scans of a manga's manga and upload it to a website to be read by a mass group of people illegally. These individuals or groups have no business relationship at all with the companies that license the manga or the manga at all. It is uploaded completely illegal, and they're making profit off of this manga by people reading it on their websites. So objectively, reading a scan is unethical and it's theft. I've seen a lot of people doing these mental gymnastics to justify why reading scans is okay, whether it's this manga is a bad person, so it's okay if I read their scans, or I read the scans to decide if I want to buy a series and then I buy it after. Regardless of what your justification is, the scans are put on those websites illegally, and not only do they not benefit the mangaka, but they benefit these companies and groups who are illegally uploading these series. So it creates a larger demand and market for illegal scans, which continues the cycle of more and more people reading manga illegally. Whether you choose to read scans or not, I honestly do not care at all. I personally have read scans before. I just typically don't like reading digital manga at all. So that's a big reason why I don't read scans. But I'm not in a position to judge or tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just first making the point that reading a scan is theft, whether you think it's right or wrong or okay to do. The first point that I want to make is reading something illegally is unethical. And so now let's move on to the argument of used manga. I've seen a lot of people saying that used manga doesn't directly impact or benefit the industry. And there's a lot of fallacies with that argument. So first, let's start off with this argument. So when I went to Write Stuff and I purchased a majority of this manga, this physical volume in my hand is my property, okay? I can do whatever I want with it. I can sell it. I could burn this on fire. It doesn't matter. This physical copy is my property. As a consumer, I purchased it. Now, let me be clear. The intellectual property, the series, is not my property. So I can't scan this volume and upload it for people to read. That is illegal because I'm using the intellectual property to make money. That is legal. But if I choose to sell this volume to anybody, that is my right as a consumer of the manga industry. And so now let's go into the argument of how it doesn't benefit the manga industry and how it doesn't because I'm making money off of it and a mangaka isn't. And there's truth to that, without a doubt. When you go to Write Stuff or Barnes & Nobles and you purchase a volume brand new, you are the first owner of that volume. One purchase to one volume. And if I sell this to a new person, now that there's two people who have benefited from the original point of purchase at a level that is hurting the profits of a mangaka. But let's go into that logic a little bit more. And to do that, we're going to go into a bit of talk about supply chain and how a volume of manga gets into your hands. For those of you who think it's as simple as when I buy this volume from Barnes & Nobles, the mangaka is getting the $9.99 that I originally paid for it, it's not that simple at all. And so, first off, let's say Togashi, he creates this art, okay? And then he goes into a contract or a deal with the company who's going to license it. So right off the bat, that company is going to take a significant portion of the profit from the original artist. And this is true for every manga. And it goes further and further down. Then you go into America, who is going to license the series in America. That's taking a portion of the profit. Then you're going into who is going to physically print the manga. That is going to take a portion of the profit. And then the next step is who actually manufactures the book. So that's taking into consideration the head count, so the people who are working in the warehouse or the manufacturer site, the physical cost of the paper, the machinery, all those things are going into the cost of this volume. And that's another portion of cut that's going out of that $9.99 that I spend. Then you go to the actual retail seller. So whether it's Right Stuff Anime or Barnes & Nobles, they are taking another significant portion of the cut when I purchase this volume. So at the end of the sale, the original author or the original mangaka probably makes about 10 to 25 cents per volume, and I'm willing to bet that's even more than they actually make. So now that we've established that there's a significant portion of profit that is taken away from the mangaka when it comes to a new volume, that's still the best way to give profit into the manga industry, isn't it? Wrong. If your true motivation behind buying new manga is to add more profit and money into the manga industry, then you are doing it completely wrong. And the reason you're doing it wrong is because the largest way to make a profit from selling an intellectual property or any form of entertainment is through digital sales. And it's something that a lot of companies that sell entertainment are striving to do today. In 2013, when Microsoft announced the Xbox One, they came out with a plan to remove any type of used copies in order to improve digital sales. The reason for this is because companies make way more money off of digital sales. There's no manufacturing cost, there's no inventory holding costs, and there's no cut of the portion that gets taken from a reseller. And this is true when it comes to manga and any other form of entertainment. So if you're saying to yourself that you shouldn't buy used manga because it's taking a larger cut of the portion than buying a new volume is, then you're just as much of a hypocrite. Because if your true motive is to get more money to the mangaka, then you would be buying only digital, because that's the number one way to give profit to the manga industry. Cutting out all the costs, the manufacturing costs, the holding costs, the retailer costs, and giving it directly to the licensing company and the mangaka. Another thing that people forget is that a large portion of people who are buying physical volumes are buying it because they know that at the end of the day, I can sell this volume and make a portion of my costs back in my own wallet. And this is a huge way that the manga market grows and grows even more because of used sales. So while yes, buying a new volume versus a used volume is at the end of the day going to give slightly more profit to the mangaka, that's true. But if you're justifying buying new over used because of that profit and you're not buying all digital, then you're a bit of a hypocrite, because if your end goal is to add more money into the manga industry, then you should have only digital series, because at the end of the day it gives the most profit to the manga companies and the mangaka themselves. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I know it's a little bit different than what I usually do, and like I said at the beginning, I'm not in any position to be a moral judge or to tell you what's right or wrong, because at the end of the day, I really don't care. If you buy used manga, if you buy new, if you read scans, I really don't care. Everybody has their own morals and what they think is right and wrong, and what they want to support and what they don't, and that's up to you as a human being to decide for yourselves. Me, I just wanted to go into this objective because I've heard a lot of iffy arguments from some other people, and so I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there. But that's going to wrap up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.